Yama a T4 ni ahwefo akwababa eye Akroma TV so best say you for best subscribe to channel no no click a notification bell no so that be ya news bi aba on san betimi akabi na o adwenche bi aso na dey to eye comment section ho ama ye na nsem wa yesa kan ene dey beto dwa ama eye T4 na osu bempa akache na ye dey T4 ebeko na obema eye special prosecutor ye kesi ajaben 14 days ultimatum say wan hwehwe eye Airbus Scàndàl no mu a almost hit the street akwa Mahama office na nchechum say Airbus Scàndàl it was very huge just say it make a British news na and so special prosecutor by we na said you hu ye na mo say send Cecilia da pa case ne ba ya OSP assure ahoden ne commitment a we solve case na mo pe the same thing e we Airbus Scàndàl no na man 14 days one reply mo so be hit the street aka occupy ex-president John Dramani Mahama in office na NCT for mbre ne dem beko osubempa ho na yakwa kuti nsem no emu nchechemu.
The worst president in the history of Ghana. Onuanya the shenanigans ene sponsor crofo say yenko tra Jubilee House na yenye 3-day demonstration eno ena ma there no say fixing the country movement oheneba my issue statement say 14-day ultimatum. Yadiama John Mahama, Office of the Special Prosecutor. Last week, me manu petition. Emma a group ye manu petition say Airbus Scàndàl or hineba and then by next company producers. Nanka omede to screen so. Emma Obie who say John Mahama appeared on the Sun newspaper. Yabonu Kwedu say government official one John Mahama ena wako di dream kesiye. I don't know how you're going to get it for you.
So you send it to me na me fama appreciation no. The special prosecutor no. As I answer no so betu ye nyina no. Abanyi
just sad Airbus Scàndàl is the biggest corruption scandal in the world. Unya former president so onkoto embraya na sikano oni nkofobia ko sikana na afa ho aye corruption ama sikadoso pobia be dini botom ama wiase abo ho dawuru ama na nimu aba beto the Sun newspaper jolo be na chewi jolo ena me pesa mode tu na ankaso ozu bempa na meka the Sun newspaper etima trokrata edi akwa koma special prosecutor says abnada pa yakoti sika oni fie na ene ye twena boso a John Mahama ama yesika ayira Ghana hayesman so nkoto aeroplane mu nyomamra ama ene abrofuna ba abontia beka se corruption bi koso wiase mu ama sikadoso poetetiae ema ono ankasa edi animu tintiman eyusu ono ani nua ena oni abrofu kosi nkenya ekogi sika bi gu ni botom ama the Sun newspaper edi ababeto front page aka ho asem Martinamidu oye omo NDC ni ede be ye special prosecutor abeka kire Ghana fo nyina ohene ba say John Mahama yes ene ye government official one wono ene di animu na Martinamidu say ye investigate John Mahama na ewiase nyina hunu dwirimu di awadie Martinamidu free ho no kusi adwaben ne baaye ebesi ne otirimu asem no so abnada pa de wafa de kasem. John Mahama was a former president of the republic. John Mahama has been a leader in this country. Onuane Professor Mills, may he so rest in peace. Eka say ye investigate Airbus Scàndàl. Enumu no de to ananum was shedo. Eti medie yasema ye kan say last 2 weeks and I'm sure letter at the core office of the special prosecutor kisi adwaben say sad nonchalant attitude na or they ye special prosecutor adwuma no a kokofu ball ba ba mu no John Mahama Airbus Scàndàl no the biggest corruption scandal into investigate no twe John Mahama ye hunu no kura wo mu na Ghana fo nyina hu se dwirim di a wadie ne keta ahye ne proye no enie ye ka ye no onti so dogo bi no abe na otwinie ontimi mbeka bibia nkyere sa papa we ya so twetua sika mansentwerefo ene nkrofo bi ohene ba etwetua sika ama enkrofo bi se omunkoda Jubilee House se Akufo-Addo ne na ban ya akrofo nti nkrofo no onu John Mahama na obokro no de krofo sika Ghana for sika etwetwama enkrofobi so ba the jubilee out now the can say Yama special prosecutor 14 days.
Ono so man 14-day ultimatum.
Yama 14 days ultimatum. So immediately Uncle Mahama or friend for investigation on the Airbus scandal. Ghana for sika bin chase kabi. Oti ase na ye hu no kre wo mu se wanya uti ohineba. Se wanya ohineba. Sa 14 days no so pepepepepa. Yensu yebe kojo Mahama fi office. Ni akọ picket it said your mrante no koye Jubilee House no ye koda ho 3 days ko special prosecutor be friend ye ko tra ni fie ho enye ni fie ni office for 3 days ni at in office ho ye tra wa me wiase nyina hu ye invite CNN ye be invite Ađġėst ye be invite other media people ohene ba mu nyina mbaba bi ni atra ho se Airbus sika na oye president esuma no se onkotomra odi sika no wasa ni sire mu a the Sun newspaper e dey beto front page munyima ye the Sun newspaper dey beto front page say John Mahama awia Ghana sika abo man no krono a Ghana special prosecutor te o timi nya ho hwe no yen fixing the country movement any maburu a yenso adwene Ghana ho no say omo say Akufo-Addo ye jolo ye pese e che jolo fo judo ye jolo pa o Ghana ha e ye John Mahama eti no
Kofi Owusu Bempa Bonsu.
My producer no.
The when Baba Mr. Sia, Deputy National Communication Director of the NPP, in charge of operations. Mebacho Monfa Weno Emma Mr. Sia, the Sun newspaper publication on Airbus Scandal. Monfa Mamenafi Meba Menino Emedin Koma. Another Ushia Emabuni.
With this statement na. Airbus statement na.
Good.
Na me numushu.
Good. American kind statement no na afi no. The entire Omama the special prosecutor 14-day ultimatum no meba meneno abedi ahonkomo dan no meeting na on MPP maburu bi enso so ekoye no meneno abo honkomo ansa na meja na kwan ama Dr. Emmanuel Mankwamo Abba Entino. So it reads.
First of all, this is one of the biggest matter English
newspapers.
The biggest newspaper. UK. The Sun newspaper. Obi a otie wo wiasema fa na nyina nim. Se me osu bempa me metra Ghana for mo say Akufo-Addo ye jolo. Ama na mabunu amo hwe. This is John Mahama.
Chorister. The president. And a £5 million Ghana plays scandal.
Meboa. Ne John Mahama picture the down.
And he actually said dodgy contracts.
Former
President Mahama.
Meboa.
And what then you know?
Meboa or neba.
Where UK newspaper.
About 14th May 2020.
Yeah.
Special prosecutor who may draw attention. Said John Mahama krono boy.
So you know tini kwa
I will say John Mahama bo krono Ghana. Me we ase o. We go Ghana nyina ni ase o. Oyeneba. The man here hunu no. We go mining nyina ni ase. This is the man who is seeking to become the president of Ghana. Na Sicily Adapa ono ye minister. Ye ntimi establish say sika no ko egu ni dem no. E yo no e ya mining sika na say e wan sika. We dey establish it. I'm a UK court. Any American court to say I'm a newspaper, the Sun newspaper, and yet no other newspaper. And the former president, I bet 20 Muse, or the dream, at the Omani Sika, 50 million military deal.
Yeah,
and one can.
Yeah,
50 million
pounds military deal.
You didn't any beto. Now, special prosecutor, I want to see Odogobi no abe. The Mabunu of the NPP. Any Ghana mabunu right thinking people in society. Me say 14 days ultimatum no so usu bempa. Se mabunu man so ya media me kwa me kra me ko. I will make sure say I will make that John Mahama the office any. And pick it.
Statement no, I mean the first 3 paragraphs of the notice to occupy Mahama's office in 14 days on the Mahama Airbus Corruption. Fixing the country movement is appalled at the nonchalant attitude being deployed on the Airbus Corruption investigation. It's been over 3 years when Airbus SE, a global provider of civilian and military aircraft based in France, agreed to pay combined penalties of more than $3.9 billion to resolve foreign bribery charges with authorities in the United States, France, and the United Kingdom arising out of the company's scheme to use third-party business partners to bribe government officials as well as non-governmental airline executives around the world. As part of this coordinated global resolution, the company also entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the United Kingdom's Serious Fraud Office (SFO) over bribes paid in Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Ghana, and the company agreed to pay approximately 990 million euros, equivalent approximately $1.09 billion pursuant to the SFO agreement. The PNF and SFO had investigated the company as part of a joint investigative team. According to admissions and court documents, beginning at the least 2008 and continuing until at least 2015, Airbus engaged in facilitate a scheme to offer and pay bribes to decision makers and other influencers, including to foreign officials, in order to obtain improper business advantages and to win business from both privately owned enterprises and entities that were state-owned and state-controlled. As a matter of fact, judicial records made public on 31st January 2020 by the British and American authorities, which Airbus acknowledges to be true, shows that between 2009 and 2015, an Airbus subsidiary specializing in the defense sector hired the brother of a high-ranking Ghanaian elected official, government official one, as well as a friend of the said brother and a third person to serve as commercial partners in the sale of 3 military transport aircraft model C295 to Ghana.
Yes, Debbie, and then we read the paragraph.
So I'm reading the last paragraph. Let me read the last 3 paragraphs.
Yes,
as trusting citizens, we want the Ghanaian justice system to open a thorough inquiry on the Airbus corruption because we strongly believe that former President Mahama has a lot of questions to answer. As if after the 14 days, and if after the 14 days there is no action in that regards, Fixing the Country movement will lead a citizens coalition to congregate and picket in front of the office of former President John Mahama. The nonchalant attitude being deployed on this Airbus matter ought to give way to real action. And if after the 14 days there is no action in that regards, Fixing the Country movement will lead a citizens coalition to congregate and picket in front of the office of former President John
Mahama. Democracy, democracy first. Kabi mami kabi so se kufu adwaban. Julobi. The evidence aba. And ya kire se konfutetu amwapa. Ya chin wiase mafana nyina. Wiase newspaper de na ba betu dwa. Said this is the most corrupt person. The Sun newspaper number 2 front page. And I'm a John Dramani Mahama. Seen the special prosecutor was seen as one. Me man evidence. Me the letter I call all. I petition. Yeah, chain 14 days. Starting new day 1 year. So just say it ended on the 9th of May.
October.
That on the 9th of October. 9th of October. Yeah, China 9th of October. Near the 3 days account. So wanya adiabecho betiena ya cho letter akoma police for the following 2-3 days no near Ojomama office. Yeah, piketi wo opio oba no office o ye gina ho kosi say special prosecutor will take action and will write to the police for them to give us protection for us to move to the office of the former president.
God, Anna Sosu Bampano, Anna, you met some of our youth.
Yes. Minya, ohineba, the enja me free wo ema enra uba sa program ni bi very important. And it's sa phenomenon bi ekoso say MPP mabunu no ebi disgruntled na party no sebio ye de mabunu ene freedom meboa ena mabunu no omo horo omo no determine the fate and the future of the party. Ye transi sama obi nya kakra no de hye ni botomu a se de me kan yi onfi mabunu no a ono koda police station a ye mranti a omo beti ketiketi a omo ko gina police station say protect the ballot to make sure into heneba me imagine say Ashanti region the heartbeat o share the statistics of an election MPP be win election bia na if Ashanti region sha say omo keka omo ho na bibia ekoso Ashanti region there's no way NDC can come to power.
Sure.
Etino enra anamotu amitu ye no se mehihia mabunu a ebinum atoba ha no my o madwene se sabio oneba de ekoso no abamubuo bi yaba na me ne mabunu no akasa no makanya om say going forward no eya ko a 2024 no ne eko a yeji MPP party na si ho na party na tima nyanyina so papa na tima konkan na sabi o problems nkitinkiti bi ohene ba eko so awodi waso TV no ya hwe kwan ya be fa so a ye be solve those problems, and na communication plays a major role because sabi the oti anti the oti enso anya sekire no an kirikiri mu amamabunu no anti de eko ase na NDC propaganda eko so ofom na omu trofutro gu nkofo ani no ese a reinventing the wheel ne make sure say mabunu no will be energized to going forward no so hu me mabunu amhia omo to tell them say 2024 no bra yigina kona we cannot and we will not allow say John Mahama ba be president of Ghana ha yes ya committee political obituary and that one will cost us for the rest of our generations and generations here to born sabi o ye maame na also ye MPP sympathizer na so ye Asantini na o ye Ghana ni na o ye Asantimemu na me wonti na me use that example na say wo also wanya hwe wo MPP ho a kan hu say wo busuani bi etima benefit from free SHS that che wo ba no eba be ye busuano pillar kokofo na wasi ewo abusuanim akufo ado drop a seed, and we cannot allow NDC propaganda ewiase nyina ayedin ena Mahama ne recklessness into ama Ghana ayedin mo o ka am so Mahama de ofiri abamu en hihye boni odigu akwan mu no ena ama ne ye brese imagine say temahabo en ko anton a mankofo mo amfa high taxes ama ho a kebede na obi kokra ne o mafiri amanoni ede ba onya ne mfa so emfa nyai etisani o ma we nyina no eya edi maburu no ye ko ne echeche nsemu kire ho a sese maburu no wo hwe o ma ho keka sa babak a ye gidi yes ye koso ye enu ti na busa se national youth organizer or hefa enti se hase ko round ne hase ye sa ehyehyia ne maburu no edi nkita ho a ohene ba enu awa hu nyame na meka hu
yes
omu hu se de no mani agye so ohene ba no amu atu ni mpaboa mu aba betie bi no akwa hu dawura ekyerɛ so ohene ba maburu no omu ogidie wo MPP mu na emom no mpanimfo bi ena amoma to ba amom ye de omo ye nti ye be hyase ne de message no ama mpanimfo no no ba hu se sebi ye ko sin bi ne de boma bodi anamentie sa maburu we mu a eno mu begina mu na duru de den na se duru de den anya maburu we mu na ba ko from na asuodu nketi aka wante o say elections are won at the polling station sa maburu we say mo ban ni ankanya o mo a 2024 na yesie
boss about my mention video John Mahama on demonstration na mema ozuwempa na remarks on that na fi no ye dia so my mention me na Christian do say or Pure FM or your sports journalist a very good morning to you senior 56 minutes after 8 hi want to me 1013 want to me TV on Facebook. We also live on all other social media platforms now.
Yes, I mean trade unions and everybody sees that in election years, I mean, trade unions and everybody sees that government is in a vulnerable place. And so that's when demonstrations and things, agitations for increased pay and all that begin to happen. And because of the sensitivity of the period and probably the fear of losing elections, government, normally would give in to some of these pressures. And before you see, the budget is out of sync. And then when elections are over and government is installed, you have to start the belt tightening all over again. The advantage going for me is I've seen more demonstrations and strikes in my first 2 years. I don't think it can get worse in the second 2 years. And it is said that when you kill the goat and you frighten it with a knife, it doesn't fear the knife because it's dead already. So I have the dead goat syndrome.